we walked around world-renowned institution Fordham College at Lincoln Center to inquire what these bright young minds know about GMOs.
I'm not exactly sure what a GMO is.
A GMO? Something to do with food, I think, right?
I think I heard about it in 7th grade, but I don't remember exactly what it is.
So it seems like many people lack a clear understanding of what a GMO actually is. GMO stands for genetically modified organism, which includes any organism whose genetic makeup has been altered in some way.
As explained on the website for the Institute for Responsible Technology, the DNA of one species are extracted and artificially forced into the genes of an unrelated plant or animal. Therefore, the genetic composition of the organism is inorganic and foreign to the species.
What are the examples of GMO foods anyway?
Let's find some examples of GMOs. It's just shocking the amount of GMO products we're consuming on a daily basis.
Whoa! That's a lot of GMOs you've got there. Wait, don't do it!
Almost all of the food available in the United States today has in some way been genetically altered. Introduced in the 1990s to the nation's food supply, there is very little FDA regulation on this practice and no required labeling of foods that are GMO. While GMOs are banned in shelves in Europe, the average American consumes 200 pounds of genetically modified food annually.
So if many Americans indulge, knowingly or not, in so many genetically modified organisms on a daily basis because of a lack of information and regulation from the FDA, what exactly is the effect in the long run? Seriously!
GMO food entirely bad for us? The thing is, with such little research, we are not sure yet. According to healthline.com, it can improve the taste of a food product while increasing the amount of nutrients it gives us upon consumption.
So for example, some genetically modified watermelons can be manufactured so they don't have seeds and make it easier for people to eat.
Especially for farmers and corporations that produce food, GMOs make it possible to produce quicker output and generate higher profits. Regardless of health implications, farmers can now produce higher output with less land and fewer resources, generate more output and higher profits. Sounds good.
Additionally, one heavily supported theory by these big businesses is that genetically engineered food creates an overall better product. Foods have resistance to diseases, better natural waste management, more appetizing taste and colors, and more.
In short, it makes for a much more visually appealing product. I mean, who wants to eat fruity pebbles that don't look so good?
Ow!
Just like GMOs, that box does much more harm than good. Are you okay?
No!
It was the GMOs' fault.
No, I'm pretty sure it was you.
No, it was the GMOs. This is what GMOs are doing to our children! Nutella!
What? We talked to renowned scientist Dr. Rai Robinson to get a scoop on what GMOs really do.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. My name is Dr. Rai Robinson, and I work here at Fordham University Lincoln Center.
Why should we be concerned about GMO?
Well, as discussed on websites like GMOproject.org, most nations do not consider GMOs to be safe and have much stricter regulations on them than they do in the United States. They've been linked to severe adverse side effects, such as, but not limited to, allergic reactions, diseased cells and livestock, organ damage and possible failure in most body systems, and it can even be connected to antibiotic resistance as well as cancerous cell growths. This is all in relation to long-term use and consumption.
However, it should be emphasized that these two last theories are highly controversial and do not have sufficient evidence to back up these claims. But there are undeniable correlations between antibiotic-resistant germs and the increase in genetic modification.
Allergies? Could you explain?
Allergic reactions are triggered by proteins, and the genetic material transfer from one to another creates new proteins. GMOs can increase the levels of naturally occurring allergens or new allergenic properties into foods without the knowledge of the consumer. For example, in 1996, there was a nearly catastrophic soybean outbreak allergy that proved nearly fatal when it was discovered that it had a similar genetic structure to the Brazil nut. It's pretty nuts.
What was in that pickle?
Well, thankfully the problem was discovered before it was released for public consumption.
But it supposedly saves resources and protects the environment. That sounds good.
Indeed, genetically altered foods do require less soil, energy, and water, but it comes at a greater physical cost. More powerful drugs are needed to treat future diseases with genetic mutations that are resistant to past forms of treatment. So as a result, the genes that may protect plants from pests and pesticides may prove vastly unhealthy for humans in the long run.
Well, this results in higher chemical concentrations in the water system and soil deposits.
GMOs serve as a counteract to environmental protection. But perhaps the worst part about genetically modified organisms is the fact that many people don't know what foods are dense in them. A study shows on the GMO Project that approximately 80% of all corn planted in the United States has a genetically modified component of some sort. In addition, many parents would be surprised to know they've been feeding their infants, that's right, GMOs.
Yeah, both milk and soy products regularly show up the ingredient list for baby foods. In America, according to the Non-GMO Project, 94% of all soy is GM.
And meanwhile, because 88% of the corn fed to cows is genetically modified, that genetically modified component makes its way through the food chain and into the milk that babies consume.
I just saved your baby. You're welcome. Bye.
And because GMOs are produced in such large contents and are so pervasive in our culture, foods high in genetically manufactured content tend to be the cheapest. This especially affects the poor, who may only be able to afford inexpensive fast food rich in GMOs and do not have the resources to eat healthier foods.
Pope Francis discusses in great detail the effects of human engineering on the poor in his encyclical Laudato Si. Just because technology can be beneficial to society in one way or another does not mean that it has no severe implications on other aspects of the world. The answer is not to continue to rely on technology for answers. We must instead turn to ourselves and invent new and healthier ways to live in order to achieve the betterment of all.
But the worst part about humans and animals consuming GMOs is that most of the side effects are still unknown. Since GMOs are not natural products, they are very unpredictable and can be dangerous.
It is up to us to be conscious of what we're putting in our bodies.
It is up to us to do more research about creating and consuming GMOs.
It is gradually up to us to move away from such harmful practices and work toward more sustainable and healthier options.
If we can all work together, we can make